If I may, let me share something from a guy who should scare you to the core. He is the historian Yuval Noah Harari. We've talked about him on this program a lot. He is the advisor to Klaus Schwab. Good. He is also the co-author of COVID-19, The Great Reset. And he talks a lot about what is coming. Now, one of the things that is coming is mass unemployment. Mass unemployment is coming because of AI. And so that will create, according to Harari, listen to this, the biggest question in all of economics and politics of the coming decade will be what to do with all of these useless people. Stu, where have we heard that before?
It certainly has echoes from our history, quite a bit.
He says the problem is more boredom and what to do with them and how they will find some sense of meaning in life when they're basically meaningless and worthless. These are his words. My best guess at present is a combination of drugs and computer games as a solution for most, but it's already happening. I think once you're once you're redundant,
okay.
Just thank you. Mm-hmm. You don't have any power. So he goes on to outline a transhumanist vision of the future where we have brain-computer interfaces to make our moving around in the material world obsolete. Human relationships become meaningless due to artificial substitutes, and the poor die, the rich don't. Here's what he says. Transhumanism boiled down to its bones. Now, this is a quote from the guy who is advising the World Economic Forum. Transhumanism boiled down to its bones is pure eugenics. But we call it H+ for better than a human, which, of course, is what eugenics is all about. Alarmingly, transhumanist values are being embraced at the highest strata of society. Okay, I just want you to, if you heard the first hour of this broadcast, you know how bone-chilling this is. If you didn't listen to it, I want you to go back and listen to the first hour of this podcast. Transhumanist values are being embraced at the highest strata of society, including big tech, in universities, and among the Davos crowd of globalist would-be technocrats. That being so, it is worth listening in to what they are saying under the theory that forewarned is forearmed. He is the leader for Klaus Schwab's. He says history began when humans invented gods and will end when humans become gods. But not all humans, as he makes clear. He says only the non-useless one will go along with transhumanism. This is what you mean by the Great Reset. He goes on to say, where is it here? There's another side of all of this, probably an important one. Harari considers free will a dangerous myth, a point on which neurosurgeon Michael Egnor has taken issue with him. On the contrary, Egnor argues denial of free will is a cornerstone of totalitarianism. Without free will, we are livestock without the presumption of innocence, without actual innocence, and without rights. But see, useless, meaningless, and worthless people. Do any of those things come into play at all when you're talking about free will? Why do we care about somebody's free will if they are useless, meaningless, and worthless? This is the kind of really frightening thinking that is happening, and it's the kind of stuff that they didn't have in Germany other than Mein Kampf. And if you read the eugenics journals, and if you were a doctor or a nurse. But everybody thought, no, it's the new shiny future. And they allowed it to happen because the old system wasn't working. We must not let it happen this time. please educate yourself and your neighbors. Don't waste time on the people who, don't have any idea what's going on and will call you a conspiracy theorist. And even if you present all of the facts, they still will call you a conspiracy theorist. No time to waste on those people. We need 20% of this nation to be wide awake. And the way to do that is, I think, my part of it is dark future. Your part is to read it, to understand it, to look at the footnotes, know the information inside and out, and then find people to share it. We need to have 20%. That is a tipping point. If you have 20% of this population truly aware and armed with information, it can't happen. But time is of the essence. I said to somebody yesterday, and I'd love to get your thought on this, Justin. I said, I'm just thinking they said not to say this on the air. I think we have, till the election, I think we have 3 to 5 years maximum before this is all done and you're not turning back. Do you agree with that?
I think it's entirely possible. I think it's so hard to predict timelines for all of this stuff, which is it's always so difficult. But there's this really great.
Well, let me give you an example here. Mm-hmm. We go to war with Russia, and Joe Biden wins. I think it's pretty inevitable.
I think the next presidential election, everyone in the universe says this every election. The next presidential election is the most important. I mean, it's not the most important election in American history. It may be like the most important election in human history. Literally, it really is that, because of the rapid advancements in this technology. And, one of the things I was skeptical of, and then I went into this, doing this research with you with this book, Dark Future, and we talk about it in the book, Ray Kurzweil and his idea of sort of the acceleration of technology, and that when you look at the history of the development of technology, as technology improves, it accelerates the development of future technology. And so the gap between changes gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So things keep happening faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. People have a tendency to think of diminishing returns. So over time, as technology develops, the difference between big gaps it's not that big of a deal. But actually, the opposite is true. Things happen faster and faster. So when you're trying to estimate timelines in a universe where everything is constantly getting exponentially faster, and we're seeing developments that were unimaginable 10 years ago. We're seeing that now. A lot of people could not imagine what we're seeing, 95% of people. And now we're seeing it, and it's common. ChatGPT is one of those things. There were people who thought that was impossible, really. And now it's just there. It's on, anyone can go do ChatGPT.
And by the way, it gets faster and faster. Ray Kurzweil did not understand or did not take into account at that time things like ChatGPT, where it is teaching itself without us. And the timeline in computer time compared to the timeline in human time is greatly diminished. So it does get faster.
Yes, and just one thing, we put this in the book as well. The timeline doesn't matter all that much. What matters is that we're moving in that direction. Whenever it happens, it's going to happen if we don't turn things around right now.